Oh, I don't really know how to feel about that, to be honest. City are an unbelievable team. Real Madrid must be out of this world if they manage to beat City over two legs. Absolutely incredible to watch. Kevin De Bruyne, the best individual performance I've seen at Molineux in all my time. But I feel like we made it. I feel like we made it quite easy for them. I don't think they really got out of second gear. Look, it was a spirited performance, but we were all over the place. We were absolutely all over the place at sixes and sevens. I don't really want to see Bolly in a Wall shirt next season, which I've said that for a while anyway. Um, and he wasn't, the sole reason for the defeat today. But that's one person I picked out. He just looked absolutely all over the place, looked lost. But as a team, we can't resist the press at all. We've seen it this season. Every time someone presses us, Arsenal's a really good example too. As soon as we're pressed, we're out of ideas and we panic. And we panic so much today. And look, they're a fantastic team. I'm not taking anything away from them. And they'll go on to be champions and rightly so, deservedly so. But I feel like we made it quite easy for them. I thought Chiquinho and Neto did okay. I thought even Jimenez did all right considering there was absolutely no service. But we just made it easy for them. Sarr was at fault for the second one as well for me. Caught in two minds. But it's one of those. I think 5-1 is a fair scoreline. It could have been even more. They hit the post a couple of times. I left a little bit earlier, admittedly. As a neutral, we want to sit and watch that all day long. But when it's against your side, it hurts. And I'd seen enough. There's a better performance than the Brighton game at home, but I just wish we could forfeit the next two games. I can't wait to the end of the season. We don't need almost like a rejig, a complete rejig, but we do need it. We do need freshening up. We need 4 or 5 players in the summer. We need to get rid of a couple too. If selling Neves is how we're going to raise cash, then begrudgingly so be it. But yeah, it's a tough one to take. City are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I feel like we rolled over and had our bellies tickled a little bit. We looked shagged after 60 minutes, and then they put the foot on the gas and put us to bed. So yeah, a difficult one to take, but a truly unbelievable Kevin De Bruyne and Manchester City.
So you'd think after a 5-1 drubbing that I'd be immensely disappointed, angry at that performance. But you know what? We got taught a footballing lesson by a team that's way better than us. And you could see that. You can tell with the league table, you can tell with the competitions they're in, you can tell by the players they have, the bench they have. I didn't think it'd be 5, of course not, but I think we went for it today. And that's part of the reason why it was 5. I think if we'd have sat back and done what we'd done, I don't know, earlier in the season, we could have limited it to probably 2. But alongside some questionable defending at times from the likes of Bolly and Johnny at centre back, which I kind of understand. We came up against arguably the best team in the world, and one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Really, I mean, Kevin De Bruyne. What can you say apart from best midfielder in the world? Easily, comfortably, in terms of everything he's done. He just, as soon as the first one went in, I thought it was over. Honestly, I thought it was over the first one after the first one, but then we got back into it brilliantly. Proper fluid counter-attack, which we haven't seen. It was kind of shades of the 18-19 Wolves, where when we first entered the Premier League, and that was our style. And it was really good to see. It was a great goal, really good move. But then it was just clinical from Man City, and that's what they are. They can side you open with ease, and that's what happened, unfortunately. But we gave it a go, and I'll take that every day of the week. It's something I couldn't say after Brighton, because that was pathetic. But today we gave it some. I think part of the reason is Chiquinho started, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant today. Every time he was on the ball, he was direct. He was progressive with his movement. Really, really good performance from him today. And I think I thought a lot of players were good today. I thought Raul looked decent. I thought Neves was a bit quiet. João looked good. Bolly fell asleep every time the ball went across the area. They could have scored 7 or 8 easily if Sterling could finish his chances or Cancelo could finish. because Bolly literally it was ball watching the entire game. But that's what they do to you. They pass it around with ease and don't give you a chance, and eventually they'll cut you open. But what can you do? It's the end of the season. Europe was gone 2 weeks ago, and that's it, really. It's a disappointing end to the season. I just hope that we can not finish at what's the word I'm looking for? Finish slowly as such. I've just had to watch us get battered. I don't know what to say, but all in all, I'm not too disappointed. I'm disappointed by the scoreline, of course. It looks like we got pummeled, and we did, but we didn't just sit back and accept defeat, and they kept going, and I'll take that every day of the week.
Season over, unfortunately, folks. Wasn't expecting too much out of this evening, if I'm being completely honest, but after the fighting spirit against Chelsea, that comeback, I really felt like, especially with their defensive or centre-half injuries and our record against them at Molineux, I thought we'd give them a lot better or a lot closer of a game than what we have tonight, to be honest with you. Like I say, season's over. Unfortunately, we're not going to be having those Conference League visits to Maccabi Tel Aviv and Yerevan and alike, and it's still going to end up being a good season for us on the whole. I think now you can see that there's a lot of change that needs to happen, and anything, and all these rumours that are coming out of the club and the articles in the Athletic about there is going to be a bit of an overhaul. It could be exciting summer for us. At the same time, it's very daunting, and you can, these things can go wrong. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what goes on with that. I think on tonight, we lost to a phenomenal football team. There's no disgrace in that. I think we made it far too easy for them at times, though, to be completely honest with you. I thought Saar distribution for the first goal, it was just a nothing ball. Then we've got caught out of position, ran off the back of Cody. Second goal, again, I think Saar bottled it a little bit in terms of against Sterling, it's come out, but then you can take nothing away from the genius of the third goal of Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, we've given him an elite footballer time on the ball, and he's absolutely punished us, to be fair to him. So there's no complaints to me. We've lost to the better team tonight. Men against boys are large parts of that game. I think that there's been a few clamours about the penalty decisions for us. I don't think they'd have changed the game in the slightest, to be honest with you. Looking back on it, I think the Zinchenko one in the first half on Chiquinho probably was a penalty. But it's one of those, with VAR, you're never going to get overturned, because I don't think it's clear and obvious. I'm just taking my Wolves cap and just talking, truthfully. I don't think it was that clear and obvious of an error that we're ever going to get that sort of decision. And the second one, again, I've seen people saying the Fernandinho challenge on Neto being a penalty. He's won the ball. He's completely, he's won the ball. I don't think he meant it in terms of, I don't think he knew a lot about it, but he's got the ball first. And yeah, again, I don't think it's going to really influence the result at the end of the day. KDB, superstar, unbelievable. Will go down as one of the best players to ever play in the Premier League. Definitely be in the Hall of Fame, and a place to watch. But it's really painful when he puts on a show like that against your team. I think now, like I say, season's over. I could really do without these next two games, to be honest with you. I think that, that Norwich game on Sunday is a complete sort of dead rubber. They're getting battered from pillar to post at the moment. And I think for me, really, I think we look at it as, what are we looking to do for next season? Bruno's looking to play, or at least it's coming out in the press that he's looking to play for the back. Go back to those first 3 games of the season, play a bit more of an expansive style of football. Let's see it for the next 2 games. We've got nothing to lose. That Norwich game, that they're feeling really sorry for themselves. So let's have a go at them and see what comes of it. I think that Liverpool game now, realistically, I think it will be a dead rubber for Liverpool as well. I can't see, I thought tonight would have been the one where Man City could potentially slip up and they've annihilated us. So I think that going into that game at Anfield as well, I think we'll be playing a reserve side of Liverpool, because they'll have their eyes on the Real Madrid game the week after. So yeah, again, there's nothing to fear if we're looking at playing 4 at the back. let's get used to it. Let's look at players. Players who are going to be here, the players who aren't going to be here. Let's not bother. The one concerning thing for me of the whole thing tonight, and again, I still think there's a player there. But if we're not going to sign Trincao on a permanent, I don't know why Fabio Silva's not coming on the pitch and getting any minutes, because it just makes no sense, to be honest with you, why you give someone who is returning back to the parent club minutes for the football club when we've got a young prospect striker who can develop. And again, probably on a hiding for nothing. It's, I'm really nitpicking. It's very minuscule stuff, but that would be my only thing for me. Like I say, season over, a good season on the whole, and yeah, looking forward to next season already. Up the Wolves.
When you come into a game like today, there's no real expectations, and you don't want to feel disappointed because you can see it coming, but I'm still really disappointed, if I'm quite honest with you. I mean, I get that it's Man City, they're the best team in the league, and, they're winning the Premier League for a good reason, and today they showed it. Still doesn't make it half disappointing, unfortunately. Final score, Wolves 1, Man City 5. Just De Bruyne killed us from the first whistle to the last. If we look at the team selection, I was very happy that we kind of carried on in the same vein how we ended the Chelsea game. At the end of the day, we didn't really have anything to lose. Chiquinho coming in, it's clear to see that he's not a wing back, he's more of a winger. And I think it's probably when we're on the ball, I think that's when, we're going to be, Chiquinho will be at his best. Because it looked like he was playing as a winger every time he got the ball, and Johnny was playing. It was almost like a right back when we had the ball. When we didn't have the ball, Johnny was at right centre back, and Chiquinho was at wing back. Really, I don't necessarily think it was the wrong team selection for me. And against the best sides in the league, it's all about keeping it compact, keeping it as tight as possible, no spaces in between. Don't show any sort of, opportunity for an attacker to get there in the first 5 minutes. That already goes out the window with Kevin De Bruyne. We were so slow defensively. And to be honest with you, I don't trust any of the any centre-backs that we've got at this football club at the moment in time. Don't get me wrong, Cody's had a good season, but Cody started to slip into the old trap that he had at the start of this season, where a lot of people, weren't necessarily rating him because defensively he was causing all sorts of problems. He's slowly starting to fall back into that trap. He's not good enough to play in a 4. Willy Bolly, again, he looks very, very flat-footed every time he gets the ball. I get he's had his injury problems, but at the same time, we're looking at him and we're thinking, oh, what are we going to do, really? He looked so slow. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing in possession of the ball. He didn't really look like winning any headers. He didn't look like tackling. And it's not just a case of this game. It's been over the course of a while with Bolly as well. And Johnny, I trust Johnny to whenever he plays as a right wing back. I just don't trust him as a centre back because he's not a centre back. And it's just clear as day that the only reason we're playing 5 at the moment is because the players aren't good enough to play a 4. But sorry, I'm going off topic there. Really, I'll come back to the game really. Whenever we actually had the ball in the first half, I felt as though we actually did look all right on the counter-attack, but the problem is we, struggle to keep hold of the ball, which is a bit of a problem when you're trying to counter-attack. Good finish from Dendoncker. Really good goal. He's been needed that for a while, to be honest with you. But it was just, we switched off again straight after that. And again, every time you switch off against these, they will score past you. And it was just like this first and second goal, horrendously avoidable. Just poor defending, just switching off at every opportunity. And to be honest with you, it almost seemed like we gave up after the second goal. To be fair, we tried, we did try, but it just seemed like there wasn't any urgency. There was just an acceptance, really, that we lost the game. And I felt as though that we could have had we could have had 2 penalties in the first half. The Chiquinho one, I thought Zinchenko has not got the ball. The only time he got the ball was when he had to go through Chiquinho to get there. The second one, Fernandinho handles the ball in the box. Moutinho got given a really horrendous decision back at the Etihad. But of course, the Premier League officials are going to be with Man City. They're not going to be against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But at the end of the day, I don't want to make any excuses towards the referee and, his bad performance. At the end of the day, We always say the referee had a bad performance every time we lose. The referee wasn't the person who scored 5 goals against us. Third goal, you can't do anything about. That's just world class from Kevin De Bruyne. The fourth goal, again, just carved open way too easily. And the fifth goal, again, just carved open way too easily. And to be fair, the fifth goal, you can't really do much about that. That was just incredible passage of play. The only criticism you could have, Johnny at the far post kind of just seemed like he gave up at that point. But in terms of for next season, because I think that's going to be the big thing for me, have we shown signs of improvement that things could get better under Bruno? I'll be honest with you, it's a bit on the fence for me. I'm not calling for Bruno out. I think it'd be very, very stupid to call for Bruno out. But I don't really see it getting any better if he keeps these current core of players. If he keeps these current core of players, plain and simple, I think he'll be gone. But I think Fosun have put us in a horrendous decision now where we're going to have to spend a lot of money to rebuild this squad with an ageing squad that hasn't really improved since 2019. And we're in a position now where, it's for Fosun, it's probably going to be cheaper to get rid of Bruno than what it is to rebuild this football club. And this is a massive window for them. There's no bullshit about FFP. There's no bullshit about that there isn't any money that we're going to have to sell to buy when we clearly know there's money at the football club. This is now make or break. We've got 2 games now to decide who's going to be good enough for next season. I think I've made my feelings pretty clear on the players I'd keep. I'd keep Jose Sarr. I can't see Semedo staying. I think he might go. Johnny. I'll keep Cody as a squad player at best. Rayan Aït-Nouri. I can't see us keeping hold of Ruben Neves. Jean Matinho. Fabio Silva. Chiquinho. To be honest, that's really it. I wouldn't really want many others, to be honest with you. I'm probably missing a horrendous one, in the comments. But, yeah, it's one of them. It's frustrating more than anything. And, you kind of accept that, you're going to sometimes lose to Man City. They're just a better team than us. And, it's just hopefully they go on and win the league this season. Because I'm sure on behalf of everyone, we don't want Liverpool to win the league this year. Right then. Cheers, you guys, and I hopefully shall be back for the final game of the season. Cheers.
So Wolves won Manchester City 5 at Molineux. That was a humbling, that was a humiliation by Kevin De Bruyne, really. And, well, there's not really much to say about him. What a player he is. You have to take your hat off and admire brilliance when it does come and smack 4 past you at your own ground and completely humiliate you. But apart from that, I know it's a 5-1 defeat. I actually thought Wolves did okay. You couldn't really question a lack of application or desire when you could in the 90 minutes against Brighton. They were pathetic. I haven't been on here in a while, but since the Brighton and Burnley games, I thought were really, really bad. Last week was okay up until the last half an hour, and then we staged a bit of a comeback, a bit of fight, and we showed that tonight, I think. Felt like we did anyway. I thought we played quite well going forward, actually, which is a bit of a change. We only got 1, but we could have had 2 or 3 saves from Ederson, from a Jimenez, shots, and Dendoncker in the second half as well. And Martin Atkinson blatantly cheating. I don't want to blame him tonight, though, because we've lost 5-1. I'm not saying for a second he's the reason Wolves lost this game, like in December when we played in the Etihad, where John Moss was the reason Wolves lost that game in December. It's a surprise that those 2 referees are returned at the end of the season. Should have gone years ago. Wolves denied a clear penalty in the first half for a foul by Zinchenko on Chiquinho, and a booking in the second half. Zinchenko should have gotten Chiquinho, who, might I say, I did say a few weeks ago on this that he will be a star. He should start more games for Wolves. And I have to say tonight, I thought he was Wolves' best player. A couple of things, cut out of position a few times, but he's a right wing back. He'll learn that. He's only young, but he's playing right wing back. He might be a winger by trade, but beat players, got crosses in, completely ran Laporte in the first half, and Zinchenko. He was a nightmare for them. And I'm really happy with the way how he played. And of course, his cameo at Chelsea was a joy to behold as well. So a bright spark there for Wolves. They've got a player on their hands, 3 million. It looks like a very good deal for the club. Might make you feel slightly better about the disgrace of the Adama Traore deal. But tonight, yeah, Wolves 1 down. De Bruyne was slipped in by Bernardo Silva. Great finish. Oh, we can't really say much. Wolves' goal, actually, I thought was really good. In the middle, Jimenez doing what I haven't seen him do much since his injury. And he did tonight really well for the goal. Was get the ball on the turn, run, and then play the pass out to the wing, where the cross came in by Neto, who I thought has been good in the last 2 games against 2 high-quality opponents in City and Chelsea. So that might be a sign that he's on his way back. Back to Dendoncker. Finish. It wasn't a great finish, but it managed to squirm its way in via a deflection, and Wolves are level. But I was happy with Jimenez for that goal. You can just see clearly that there is a lot of the player that was there pre-injury still there, and hopefully we can unlock that next season and get him back amongst the goals. But Wolves weren't level for too long until they fell behind again. Sloppy defending, Aït-Nouri keeping Sterling on side. The ball drops to him in and around. De Bruyne fires in for 2. And then for 3, pile driver from distance on his left foot. And then for 4, ball bobbling around in the box. De Bruyne just smashes it in again. And at that stage, you're thinking, oh God, please let it end. And you looked and there was still about half an hour to go. And Wolves were 3 goals down against this super team. And, well, they managed to get a 5th. Sterling, I think it was. Cancelo played it across. And between that, Foden hit the post, De Bruyne hit the post. Sterling ran into the post when he should have scored. And he missed a sitter, but he shits, so he couldn't put it in. And, yeah, it was just one of those, wasn't it? Wolves really, since they come back up to the Premier League, haven't had a game like that where they have been totally and utterly ripped to bits by a player or a team. They've always tended to, even in games against big teams like Manchester City, we've always tended to hold our own and play quite well and defend quite well. All I have to say about the defence is ship every single one of them off. Like, seriously, I don't know if that's an overreaction or not, but given the game against Chelsea, the game against Brighton, like, it's just so bad. The defending has fallen off a cliff. And then you discover that Jose Sa, who's a great goalkeeper, can't save everything all the time. Like Bolly, Saiss, they're both, I think they're both going. Well, Bolly, I think I might be one to say that he should go. And Saiss is probably on his way. Johnny has really annoyed me the last couple of weeks, actually. I thought he was atrocious tonight. Against Brighton, he gave up for the 3rd goal as well. He wasn't too good last week. Aït-Nouri, good going forward, still suspect at the back. You know yourself with him, and a weird one. And Chiquinho, right wing back. I don't know if it's a bit of bias, but I haven't got a bad word to say about him tonight, because I actually thought every time he got the ball, drove direct, good running, and yeah, he was all right. But the rest of the Wolves team weren't very good. Donker got a nice goal, Moutinho a couple of nice touches. Neves barely noticed him, to be honest. It was a pretty anonymous game from him. But yeah, just one of them for Wolves tonight. Can't really fume. 5 points behind West Ham with 3 games to go. 2 games to go for the both of us. Looks like it's just out of reach, doesn't it? 5 points. We'll probably beat Norwich at the weekend, but with this team, I wouldn't hold my breath. And West Ham, God help them, have Manchester City on Sunday. I'm glad we don't have to face them again until next season, because that was a bit of a humbling. So, unless we can beat Norwich and win at Anfield, then it doesn't look like it's going to happen for Wolves this season. But there is positives to take, but there is a lot of negatives as well. I haven't won for a while. And truth be told, the second half of the season has been a massive disappointment, whatever the way you look at it for Wolves. Look, in February, after they beat Leicester, they were looking up 2 points outside the top 4 with a game in hand. And for the way it's crumbled, it's in the manner it has since, I think it's a Friday night football at home to Leeds. Since then, Wolves have really stuttered and muttered and not really managed to get on a run of any sort of quality or anything. So yeah, this season, one you'll look back on and think is the one that got away, but tonight Wolves were completely blown away by a really, really good Manchester City team and the champions, and well, they only had to spend, what, $1 billion to do it? But yeah, Wolves 1, Manchester City 5.